Hey everybody, welcome to the December 5th edition of Fed News, your fake figure wrestling news. This week, as you can see, a couple new banners in here. GCW has been started, as well as UCW. Let's get started. Also with Slam Wrestling as well. Let's get started. So first off, Matt Hardy was signed to SmackDown. Undertaker was traded to SmackDown. Kevin Von Erich has signed with WCW. Roddy Piper has signed with WCW. Hillbilly Jim has signed with the WWF as well. A complete draft shift took place after CWA merged with the WWFA to become the WWE, but will keep the WWFA name. ECW has upgraded to the Ultimate brand, so now instead of 4 Ultimate brands, there's now 5, which will mean that instead of 15 guys per brand for the World War III Battle Royal, it will be down to 12 guys from each brand. New Excite, WWE ECW, and a brand new brand of UCW replaces the NXT Minor League. The South Wrestling Federation and North Wrestling Federation have merged with the CWF, Central Wrestling Federation, to just become the CWF Wrestling, Championship Wrestling Federation. Rampage has closed and wrestlers were redrafted to Dynamite or Collision. And finally, GCW has been started, containing a few select wrestlers. I decided to make GCW, as it is a custom figure brand, only elites that did not live up to the hype or the expectation I had when I paid for them. So basically, they're on the outs. In fact, you're going to see all those wrestlers on my Mercari page for sale to try to recoup some money because either A, they are not posable or playable like they said they were, the paint apps are just trash, the figures wobbly or loose. So I don't have the skills to really go in and redo them all together. So the idea is like it's just an ever rotating roster. Who knows? Maybe they'll stay around forever. Maybe once in a while they'll come and go. My hope is going forward, I get better quality elite customs, and sometimes I do. I do from certain people, but sometimes I find those rare, ones out there. I just found Dr. Death Steve Williams. So for the UWF, I was planning to have him commissioned, but this one looks nice. It looks good. Looks like it might have been one of the former customizers figures anyway to somebody else. But sometimes I find those guys for $35, and I'm just like, let's give it a shot. And I look at it and I'm like, yeah, no, it's got a crack, or it's not accurate, or it's not um, appeasing, so to speak. So yeah, that's where GCW comes in. But back over to match results this week, as Superstars took place as Razor Ramon Diesel prepared for their tag team title match next week at the pay-per-view, defeated Doink and Sergeant Slaughter. Shawn Michaels defeated Owen Hart, which was interesting because Michaels will take on the Bulldog for the European title at the pay-per-view, so Owen was trying to soften up Michaels. LOD would defeat Iron Sheik and Bob Orton Jr., so they have a win going into their tag title match as well. British Bulldog would return the favor to Owen by beating Bob Backlund, softening him up for his match with Owen at the pay-per-view. Bret Hart and Psycho Sid defeated Mr. Perfect and Ultimate Warrior. Over to WCW Saturday Night now as Hacksaw Jim Duggan defeated Michael Hayes. Sting would defeat Stevie Ray. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard and Barry Windham would defeat Steamboat, Brian Pillman, and Randy Savage. Paul Orndorff would defeat Rick Rude in a non-title match. And Ric Flair and the Giant defeated Jake Roberts and Great Muta as they prepare in 2 weeks for their pay-per-view title match. Over to Raw now as Dolph Ziggler defeats The Miz. Finn Balor defeats AJ Styles. Austin Theory defeats Seth Rollins. Cody Rhodes defeats Bill Goldberg. The main event saw Edge and Randy Orton defeat the Usos. And then a lot of pay-per-views this week have taken place, a lot of champions, so bear with it. But Rey Mysterio would defeat Jeff Hardy for the Cruiserweight title. JBL would defeat Xavier Woods. The Fiend would defeat Matt Hardy. Ken Shamrock and Billy Gunn retained over Eddie Guerrero and Batista for the tag team titles. JBL would go on to defeat The Fiend. And then, for some reason, The Fiend decided to attack Booker T after the match, and JBL will capitalize and win the Intercontinental Championship. Stone Cold in a triple threat match defeated Brock Lesnar and Triple H to crown the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Over to ECW now, their first match turned into a pay-per-view as Warlord and Zeus defeated Marty Jannetty and Don Morocco. Shelton Benjamin would defeat Zack Ryder to win the ECW TV title. Dynamite Kid would defeat the Boogeyman. Demolition defeated Moose and Apollo Crews for ECW Tag Team Gold. And Test defeated Kane. The main event saw Rob Van Dam defeat Chris Benoit to crown the ECW World Heavyweight Champion. Over to AEW had All In this week as well as the Elite defeats Death Triangle to crown Trios champions. Eddie Kingston defeats Jake Hager. Christian Cage would defeat Hook to crown the FTW champion. Jurassic Express defeats Best Friends. Orange Cassidy defeats John Moxley to crown the TBS champion. The TBS champion, if you're wondering, is basically the middleweight belt for that brand. The TNT championship is on Dynamite. This is Collision only. And then the main event saw Bryan Danielson defeat Lance Archer to crown the AEW International Champion. Dynamite, however, did not have a pay-per-view, but did have still a match. It had FTR defeating Butcher and Blade. Powerhouse Hobb defeats Dustin Rhodes. And Private Party defeats Dark Order's Grayson and Uno. Evil Uno, that is. The main event saw CM Punk defeat MJF. No show on NXT this week, or NWCW, or the WFA with Velocity. Nothing on Red Impact or Blue Impact. However, IWGP did have a little show as Chris Masters defeated Chase Owens. Mike Awesome and Chuck Palumbo defeated Shinsuke Takagi and Kichizuki Okada. The main event saw Chris Masters and Lance Storm defeat Zack Sabre Jr. and Sonata. Nothing in AAA this week. Ultra Clash also took place as Roderick Strong defeats Wade Barrett. The Nasty Boys would defeat the Undisputed Era for the NXT Tag Titles. It was for the crowning of the tag titles. Austin Aries defeated Tyler Bates for the NXT Championship. EC3 defeats Bo Dallas. And the main event, Chavo Guerrero defeats Ezekiel Jackson for the WWE ECW Championship. Also over in new, we had Stomping Grounds this week, their pay-per-view, as Bushwhackers defeated Drake Maverick and James Ellsworth. The Viking Raiders defeated AOP for the new Tag Team Championship. Jason Jordan will squeak out a victory over Umaga for the new Intercontinental Championship. And Adam Rose defeats Damian Sandow. The main event saw Rhino defeat Jinder Mahal to crown the new Universal Red Champion. Nothing on Excite. UCW did have their first show, and in fact, they will actually be going to 4 matches a card going forward. Of course, including pay-per-views, will be 5 or 6 matches. But Jack Gallagher defeated Lince Dorado. TJP defeated Grand Metalik. So big losses for the Lucha House Party, 2 members anyway. And the main event saw the Wild Samoans defeat Gronk and Mojo Rawley. The CWF, now merged. Crush would defeat Pat Patterson, and Billy Graham defeats the Berserker. The main event saw Yokozuna defeat King Kong Bundy for the CWF World Championship. Kevin Von Erich was expected to appear at this event. However, he is signed with WCW and will not be partaking in CWF anymore. Nothing in TNA or NWA or IWF, but OROH. Alex Wright defeated PCO. Juice Robinson defeated Sanjay Dutt, and Savio Vega defeated Matt Taven. The main event saw New Jack defeat Jay Briscoe for a potential world title shot contention in the future. There was no show for GCW. However, there was one in All Japan Pro Wrestling as Will Ospreay defeated Bushi, and Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito defeated Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. Over in Legend of Wrestling, Luthez would defeat Kerry Von Erich. Main event saw Vern Gagne defeat Stan Hansen. The World Wrestling Council, Flash Funk defeated Chains. The Godwins defeated the Headbangers. Main event saw Ahmed Johnson defeat the Patriot. Slam debuted as well as Supernova defeated Tenebris Jr. and the main event saw Charlie Malice defeat Lizmark Jr. A lot of new champions this week as Yoko would win the CWF World Championship, Shelton winning the ECW TV title, Demolition win the ECW Tag titles, Rob Van Dam win the ECW World Heavyweight Championship, JBL win the Intercontinental Championship, Rey Mysterio win the Cruiserweight Championship, Stone Cold winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which he would later drop that belt and pick up his Stone Cold Smoking Skull Championship for now. The trio champions were crowned as Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson. Christian Cage win the FTW Championship. Orange Cassidy win the TBS Championship. Bryan Danielson win the AEW International Championship. Jason Jordan win the New Intercontinental Championship, Viking Raiders win the new Tag Team Championships. Rhino win the Red Universal New Championship. Nasty Boys win the NXT Tag Team Championship. Austin Aries win the NXT Championship. Chavo Guerrero squeaking out a victory by winning the WWE ECW Championship over Ezekiel Jackson. The other guys retaining their belts this week were Ken Shamrock and Billy Gunn to retain the WWE Tag Team Championship. That's all the news for this week. It was December 5th. I'll see you next week on December 12th. Have a good night.